So I created a unique character design that had a mouth that was a little bit different than I'm used to. And so I thought of creating a different style of rig for the mouth. And I'm going to show you in this video how I did that. So we're going to delete this cube and then Shift A to create a mesh, and that's going to be a circle shape. And then rotate in the X axis 90 degrees. Go into your front orthographic view, press Tab. Now we're going to select face and grid fill in the edit mode. Grid fill settings, change the offset a little bit. So now the vertices are standing upright, and this is going to help us because if you grab the proportional editor and just grab the top two, you'll see how we're going to be able to animate this and the vertices are going to be working with us. And so we can go back into object mode. Why don't we just put on a material right away here and call this mouth maybe. Give it like kind of a red color like the inside of a mouth. There we go. Go into your shading view there. So now we want to actually name this object mouth, okay? And we're going to move the camera and the light into the scene collection and name this collection mouth. And we can duplicate this mouth shape. So scale it down in the Z to like 0.2. And then tab into edit mode, and you can select maybe the first couple columns, and with your proportional editor on you can give it a bit of a curve and then scale it out in the X a couple times, and then maybe a bit more of a curve here. Okay, now we want to select all of the vertices because the object orientation for this top lip shape is not really centered, so we're going to center it by moving this just up a little bit. Then with that whole object selected, just move it right down on top of the mouth. Name it top lip. And let's erase that material and give it a new one. Simply call it black. Okay. And make that black. Then with the camera selected, you can go into its transform menu and give it a value of 0 by just highlight all these value of 0. And the location can be -10 in the Y. And then X rotation can be 90. And this rotation can be 0. So that way, if we're in camera view by Control 0, we can kind of see it clearly here. So we'll just pop back out and go Shift A and select Mesh. Now we're going to create the grease pencil effect that you'll see in 2D animations. So you can select grease pencil stroke and move this grease pencil kind of out of the way, maybe right down. And with that stroke selected, we're going to go modifier, add modifier, and then in the generate, say line art, okay? Collection is going to be mouth, so that's why we named that collection mouth. And the layer can be lines, and material can be black. And now all of a sudden you saw something change there. Go into your camera view and take a look at what you've done. You got a black line. You can change the settings to that with that stroke selected in that modifier. So we're going to move on, and here we want this mouth to be affected by this top lip. So we need, first of all, we're going to go in and create some bones. So make sure you're in the mouth collection. Shift A and go to armature, single bone. Why don't we just duplicate it? Move it up to that mouth shape. Now with that in edit mode, with that first bone selected, go rotate in the Y 90 degrees. Just get it to lay down. Okay, and move it down. And now we can name this bone mouth. Name this bone top lip. That's great. So it's coming along. We need this bone to move with the mouth bone. The top lip bone is going to have to... Oh, notice how we have two armatures there? My mistake. So go and grab that and go to the other armature and you can say join. That's a quick way to fix that mistake. And we want this just called armature. Okay, so now back into edit mode. Go with this bone selected, the top bone selected, and select the bottom bone, and right click and select parent, make, and keep offset. So now with this bone, you can see that it's kind of rotated a little bit. So we can go into its settings and change that roll to 0. There we go, that fixed that. So now in pose mode, this mouth bone will move the top lip bone, but the top lip bone won't move the mouth bone, which is good. Now we want the mouth to be moved by the bone and the top lip to be moved. But first, we're not going to use weighting to do this. It's just so much simpler for this quick mouth rig just to make a lattice. So go back into object mode and go lattice. Simple as that. Scale 2. And then over here in your lattice settings, you can change these two to 4. Okay. And we're going to make sure that this shape in the Y is actually not too wide, and we're going to go with this mouth shape and top lip shape. We'll select them both, go into edit mode. It brings them both into edit mode. We can grab all the vertices and go extrude in the Y, maybe 0.1. Okay, and then that'll give it a bit of a thickness, make it look more three-dimensional. And you can even give that a kind of a modifier. Maybe both of those can get a generate subdivision surface modifier, and maybe both of those also should be smooth, so we smooth those out, and it'll just look better in the render and everything later. So now we're going to add vertex groups, so go plus, and we can go top, and we can add a weight of 1, and that's going to affect how much those vertexes move. So now let's try for these. Go B and assign maybe 0.5, and I'll speed this part up. Okay, this is the part that you really just hope that was good enough. If not, you can tweak it a little bit, but this is still a really quick way to do it, regardless of the few minutes that that's going to take you to do. So now we want to add the hook. So we go into the modifiers, and we simply go deform hook, and add the top lip, because that vertex group that I'm about to select right now, called top, is going to be hooked to the top lip now. So when I move, you see how that moves? But to be able to see that on the mouth, of course, we just got to go in and add a modifier for that. It's going to deform it, and that's a lattice modifier, and that's all we need there. So now when we move, there we go. Okay, so we go back in and add another one. So deform and hook, deform and hook, deform, hook. Okay, and top lip every single time. Top lip, side, and now just continuing to add the vertex groups. Okay, and now, because those are all added, you see how the mouth moves quite a bit. Now you might not want your top lip to be so big, so you would have adjusted that first before all of those were attached. But if you had to go back and you had to edit that object shape, you could just temporarily remove it from those modifiers. You would just take that off quickly. So now we're going to be animating by the bones though, so we still want the bones to control the top lip and the mouth. So we needed the lattice though, because we're going to select the lattice and the mouth object, then the armature in object mode, right click parent, and go to bone. But before we do that, you got to make sure that in pose mode, this bone is selected, the bone that you want it to parent to. So now back into object mode, because it is selected, everything should work fine now. So we're going to select this bone and move it around, and see it's moving the top lip bone. That's great. So now go and select the top lip bone in pose mode and grab the top lip, just the top lip, and then the armature, parent, bone. Okay, isn't this so cool? That's what we can come up with. And it took me time to explain, But once you've done it a couple times, it's just a really fast way of creating a mouth rig that looks cartoonish. So now if we go and grab our camera, I'm going to go just in object mode and control 0 to be in camera view. Let me make sure my bone is selected. There we go. And then I'll just hide this stuff so you can see. And there you go. So now if you wanted the mouth shape to like hug a little tighter to the top lip on the top, you just adjust those weights on that vertex group. But if it was just a quick animation and it was just kind of a character just going like that, you know, and just something simple, then this is perfect. Just take you a few minutes. So I hope you enjoyed watching. And if you can like and subscribe, that would be awesome. Appreciate you joining me, and have a great day.